Hello, and welcome to this app tour for the Generation Church app for Generation Church in Pensacola, Florida. We do these church app tours so that people from the church can better understand what their app is capable of doing, because many times it's hard for a church to walk through everything that an app can do. So you can see already I'm on an iPhone 7 here, and I'm slowly deep pressing on the Generation Church icon, and it opens quick actions. This is something that is not available in every app. Only really, even now, though it's been available for over a year, only newer apps and advanced apps usually have this functionality. But you can see Generation Church has the ability to dive into different sections, and I'm going to come back to this functionality later on, but I just wanted to show it as an example of something that you might not even know is available to you with a Generation Church app. So I'm going to press the app icon to just open the app normally, and you can see it opens to Generation Church's awesome splash screen with their logo, and at the bottom there are the different options of areas that you can go to in the app. So I'm going to press the events option, and it's going to open a calendar of events in order of how soon it will happen from now. And you can see for every event there is the option to press a button for information and the option to press add to calendar. So I'm going to press information for this top event, which is the Generation Weekend Service. And you can see it shows a pop-up which displays extra information for that. Now what's awesome is Generation Church does an incredible job of posting this sort of information for every single event. And so you almost every event, maybe every event, you have at least this much content to tell you more details about the event if you press information. But even better, for an event like Grow Groups, if I press that, there's an email contact available for that. So if you needed to contact someone about Grow Groups, in this case, you have the ability to contact Stephanie Jones. So you can see there's an email address, but also an email button inside of the pop-up, and I can press that, and it will pre-fill out who you're sending the email to, the subject line, so Stephanie already knows where this email is coming from, and you can just fill out any additional information that you want to ask Stephanie about for Grow Groups. And this is obviously not just for Grow Groups, it's available for any type of event that needs to have a contact. But even better than that, I can go down to Financial Peace University, which not only has an email contact, but also has a website associated with it. You can see at the bottom it says get your materials here, and there's a website button included inside of this pop-up, and if I press that, I will stay within the Generation Church app, but now I'm taken to the screen where I can register for Financial Peace and get more information about it. So you have access to all of the stuff going on at Generation Church, and you can get more information, sign up, contact, all from just inside of this one section of the Generation Church app. And on top of that, you can see there is the Add to Calendar button, which I haven't even talked about, and I'm going to press Add to Calendar for the Generation Weekend Service. And just by pressing that, you can see it says Event Added. The first time you add an event, it will ask for permission to add events. But after you do that, it's this easy. You tap it, it's added. You tap it, it's added. And now that's been added to my calendar. So what I can do is I can scroll down and just add every event that's relative to me and my family to my calendar. And perhaps you're wondering, why would I add it to my calendar when I have this calendar right here? And the difference is you probably have an iCal or a Google Calendar, which you use to get reminders or just to check to see, hey, what's going on throughout the week. You probably don't say, hey, I wonder what's going on this week in my family, and open the Generation Church app. You probably say, hey, I wonder what's going on in my family, and open your calendar for your family or for yourself. This will add that information to that calendar, just so in, say, a minute or less, you can probably scroll down this and add every event that's relevant to you and your family. And on top of that, I know my wife and I have our calendars linked through iCal, and this makes it so as I'm adding these events that are relevant, they're also going to my wife's calendar, so we all stay in sync with what's going on at Generation Church, which in our case it's obviously not Generation Church, but you get the idea. We do the same thing with our church. So that gives a good idea of how powerful this events calendar is. And if anybody has questions about anything going on Generation Church, you really can just say, hey, do you have the Generation Church app? Hey, have you checked out the events section? Because from here you can do so much with every single event available. And if there's any extra action that needs to be taken, you can almost always do that extra action from the calendar. Next up is videos. This has all of Generation Church's sermons archived, and they're archived by being divided by sermon series to make it really easy to navigate to whatever whatever content you want to get to, and also to be able to browse through a sermon series. You can see at the top of the screen is a countdown timer, which counts down to when the next live service is. And once that reaches 0, a watch live button will appear up there, and then you can touch the banner and it will take you to watch the live service that is happening. But I'm going to go ahead and press, let's go into next. And you can see here are the 3 sermons from the next series. I'll do the middle one, Celebrating the Journey, and you can see it will open Celebrating the Journey here, ready to watch. So I could press play and just start watching the sermon, or maybe I was already at Generation Church, I loved this message, I want to share it with someone, and what I can do now is in the top right corner, you can see that box with an arrow pointing out of it. I can press that, and it will open a prompt which allows me to share this sermon by text, by email, or by social media, even Google Hangouts, and I just press a button. So let's say I want to text this to a friend. I can text it, and boom, there it is. It fills out, here's a message I like from Generation Church, and a link to that video. And obviously you can erase text if you don't like it, or make it say whatever you want, but there is the direct link to that video, so you can share it with someone. And awesome to have the ability to do that through social media as well, so you don't have to just do it to a person. You could post it to your feed instead. So next up is reading. The reading plan you can see right now, it says right above Genesis 1 through 31, it says reading for day 1 of week 1. So that's because I have not started reading yet. So I haven't started using this reading plan yet. I actually personally use this exact reading plan in my own church's app. So I know how it works, and I'm going to walk you through that process. So you can see right now I have the 2 scriptures that are here to read for today, as well as a memory verse. So let's go ahead and click Genesis 1 through 31. It brings up the text, so I'm still inside the Generation Church app, and I can just read through this passage. And you can see in the bottom right corner, I have the ability to zoom in on text if I want it to be bigger than what it is by default, and it will remember that. So next time you come in to read, it will stay at whatever the zoom level it is you want to have the font at. And also I have little arrows pointing left and right. So if I push left, it'll push me back out. I'll just go ahead and do that. It pushes me back out to this screen. And you can see now there's a check mark because I read that first passage. But if I go back into that first passage and I click right, it'll take me to the second passage, Genesis 2, 1 through 25. And if I select right again, it now finishes the reading for me. So you can see you have completed today's reading. You can continue to the next reading now, or next time you open the app, it will automatically take you to the next reading. So the way this works is now I'm done reading. I can either quit using the app or use the app for something else or whatever I want to do. And when I come back next time and open the app and go to the reading section, it will take me into day 2 of week 1, because that's going to be the next day I want to read. Or let's say I want to keep reading. You can see at the bottom of the screen there are arrows. You see that week 1 above a big one, there's an arrow, so I can select right and it will load day 2 of week 1. So if I want, I can go ahead and even start reading tomorrow's. So something that could happen is you could say, hey, you could have a group of 3 people who have been going through this reading plan for 14 weeks now, and for some reason you just found out about it. Maybe you're just watching this video and just found out that there's this sweet reading plan, and one of them comes up to you and says, hey, we've been doing this for 14 weeks. You want to join us? Well, what do you do now? I mean, are you going to go through and quickly click through all these to just jump through it? Are you going to read? Are you gonna sit down and read the Bible? Well, either way, that's a lot of reading. So let's say you don't want to do that and you just want to start where they are. In the top right corner, there's this top time hop functionality, which is that clock with an arrow. If I press that, it gives me the ability to jump and catch up with them. We said they're on week 14, so it's Friday, so they're on week 14, day 5. So I'm going to go ahead and say set that as the new starting date, and there I am. I'm on day 5 of week 14. They're in Ruth. Now we're no longer in Genesis. And now, even if I don't read it all and I back out of the app and come back, the app will now remember this is the day I'm on. It will always treat me like I have caught up with them. Now, if I don't read again, obviously I'm not going to stay caught up with them, but now if I stay reading at their pace, I will stay caught up with them, and the app doesn't know a difference because it has now, I have now set it to say, hey, I've caught up with them. Also note that the Generation Church app uses Replicate Ministries F260 Reading Plan. It's based off of reading 5 days of the week for 260 days of the year. So you only read 5 days. You can either take the weekend off or take 2 other days of the week off, but it's only made to read 5 days a week. That way, let's say you are trying to read with someone, you don't fall horribly behind if for some reason you can't read for a few days. So that covers the reading plan inside of the Generation Generation Church app, the last thing I'm going to do is jump to the More section. There is a giving button, which will just take you to be able to give to Generation Church. But I'm going to select the More button, and this takes you to all sorts of ways that you can connect with Generation Church, visit the website, you can submit prayer requests, and then at the top is live sermon notes. This is actually probably my favorite function in the app, and I can select this and I can see the sermon notes for this week at Generation Church. And you can see the really neat thing about this is at the top there's that blue bar and it says touch any section to take a note. So I can touch this special guest Sandy Sansing and it will bring up the ability for me to type something. So I'll just type hello. Obviously, I would never want to type hello as a note since I'm not actually messaging anyone. But hey, let's type note just so it makes more sense. Note 1. And now you can see next to that is a little symbol showing, hey, a note has been taken here. So I can touch special guest Sandy Sansing again, and it will come up, and look, there's my note waiting for me. But now that note's not in the way. It's just sitting there, and I have something designating a notes there. So as the sermon goes along, let's say something about world help integrity comes up. I can touch that section of the sermon. Integrity is good. I can type that, select add, and there it is next to that section of the notes waiting for me. So as you go along and you're taking notes on the message, you'll be able to easily see what sections you've taken notes on because you can see the different icons. The really neat thing is even after all that, when the message is over, you can select this email sermon button, and it will bring up the sermon notes with the sermon notes that you wrote where you wrote them. So you can see there's the special guest Sandy Sansing, and right below that is the personal note I took on it, which was note 1. Here's the world help integrity, and there's where I wrote integrity is good. So now I can take notes and I can email them to myself, and then I can set it up with my email provider to archive those notes in a special folder if I wanted to do that. And then forever, or let's hope the email provider doesn't go away, but as long as the email provider continues to exist, I will have my sermon notes there ready to go back and find, and they're not even going to take up much space because this is all text. There's no images or anything. So it gives me the ability to now have archived notes. I can take as many notes as I want it to. There's no limit to how much I can write on a piece of paper since I'm taking it on my phone. And it gives me the ability to just use my phone and type, which is something I personally love to do. So this is a great way to be able to take sermon notes in church, and an awesome tool if you like using your phone. Something else, and I told you I was going to come back to, I'm going to go ahead and kill the app. And now, hey, we're back here where we started, right? So the thing is, remember, I had to go through a series of menus to get to the sermon notes. Remember, I had to click the More button and then the Sermon Note button. But what's cool about these quick actions is it gives me the ability to go straight into the sermon notes. So you'll see it'll sit here for a second, and then boom, there's the sermon notes. And remember, I killed the app. My notes are still there in the app waiting for me. They didn't even disappear. So the only thing that will make your notes go away is when next week notes come. So just make sure you email your notes before the following week's notes come up. So hopefully this has been a walkthrough that has helped you understand just how many things you can do with the Generation Church app. If you have more questions about what's possible with the FaithLink app, you can visit faithlinkapps.com.